Hello, welcome back to the VTOL VR Definitive Campaign Guide. Last time we finished off the Border War campaign for the T-55, now we're moving on to the final aircraft currently available in VTOL VR. The EF-24G Mischief. The EF-24G Mischief is a two-seat twin-engine swing-wing fighter aircraft modified with specialized equipment and sensors to fill the electronic warfare role. And yes, it is basically just an a modernized F-14 design for electronic warfare. They basically just turned the F-14 into a growler. They basically just combined the F-14 with the EA-18G growler. And you know what? Hell yeah. This is the modernized Tomcat that we have always wanted. Kind of like the proposed Super Tomcat 21, which was supposed to be a modernized Tomcat, but it never, it was rejected. Oh well, at least we have this. Let's go. So like the T-55, the EF-24G has a campaign and no quick flight missions and no notable quick flight missions. It's just free flight and practice. So it's gonna hop right into the campaign. 1 minute to midnight. So yeah, let's just get right into it. 1 minute to midnight. With supplies low and conflicts rising, the battle is at risk of going nuclear. Oh boy. Oh boy, nuclear war. Fun! Except not really. Let's go. Let's head to Mission 1, Dead Islands, or Deed Islands. Destroy enemy air defenses and early warning radars on remote islands. After a long deployment overseas, our final mission before returning home is to clear early warning and air defense radars on a cluster of remote islands. There are 3 early warning radars among the islands. Each radar has various levels of self-defense, so you may be required to suppress or destroy the air defenses in order to land a successful hit on the EW radar. The island also hosts various high-value assets which we would like to destroy, so your job will be to destroy all air defense radars. This will allow us to send in dedicated bomber groups to clear out the weapons and hardened targets. All air defense radars, including those on ships, need to be destroyed. Missile batteries and the ships themselves can be left standing. Roger that. Alright, simple enough. It's just a seed mission. Just a seed mission. We've done this before. Let's go. So this is the EF-24G Mischief. So first of all, gun. It's just a standard Vulcan cannon. Do we need it? Yeah, we should bring a TGP. Even though, strictly speaking, we don't really need a TGP. We don't really need a TGP for this mission, because we're only going to be carrying ARMs for this mission, so we technically don't need a TGP. But we're going to bring one just so we can actually see things. So we can actually, see ground targets. So this targeting pod is the ANA-Q34 sniper pod. This is compared to the ANA-Q28 lightning pod. That's carried by both the FA-26 and T-55. This is the AQ-34 sniper pod, which is a more advanced targeting pod, and is basically just a targeting pod equipment. I can't speak apparently. This is basically just a targeting pod equivalent to the EOTS on the F-45. It is actually the exact same thing. Because like the EOTS, like the F-45's EOTS, the sniper pod features a sky filter which will help filter out heat from both the sky and the ground, which will give a much clearer image. And honestly, it's actually great. I wish all aircraft could equip the sniper pod, but oh well. Let's see, we're gonna be carrying, and then on our belly hardpoints, we're gonna be carrying, you know, on the belly hardpoints in between the engines, you know, just like a real, just like the real Tomcat, we can carry weapons in the big space between the engines. We'll be carrying harms. Just our belly's just gonna be loaded with harms. Now on our main wing hardpoints, we're gonna be carrying AN ALQ 245 jammers. So these are jammer pods. The AN ALQ 245 are advanced jammer pods that are much more powerful than the ALQ 131 self-defense jammers that are found on the FA-26 and T-55. So they can be carried by the FA-26 and T-55. So these are significantly more powerful jamming pods compared to those. These allow access to the Mischief's full EW suite. And I'll get into how they work once we get into the mission. So yeah, we're just gonna be carrying these for now. We can also carry some weapons on the pylon, on the side of the wing pylons. So on our wing pylons, we'll be carrying AGM 188 MARMs. So on the wing pylons, we're gonna be carrying AGM 188 MARMs, these are medium-range anti-radiation missiles with a unique top-down attack trajectory. So basically, like, you know, unlike the HARM, which flies directly at the target, the MARM will fly above the target and then dive down onto it. You know, kind of like a javelin missile. And yeah, that's basically it. Do we need a fuel tank? Do we need fuel tanks? You know what? No, I don't think we need fuel tanks. I don't think we need external tanks. We're not going to carry external tanks. We should be able to do this quick enough without so that we don't need external tanks. Of course, the downside of the MARM is that it has a much shorter range than the HARM, but the top-down trajectory makes it much harder for SAMs to intercept it. So yeah, assuming you can get close enough for the missiles to actually be effective. But anyways, that's our loadout. Apparently I have a Hatsune Miku livery. Oh yeah, yep, that's Hatsune Miku. Hatsune Miku! I can't see the end of the horizon. Hatsune Miku! Let's see what else. I have a Monarch. I have Monarch's livery. I have a Federation. I have a Federation livery. Tax Federation. Top Gun Maverick. Mobius 1, Blaze, UPO. We're just gonna carry the naval livery because we're actually gonna be launching from a carrier. Alright, let's go. Alright, that mission loaded super fast because there's really not much in this mission. It's just the ocean and a few islands, so there's really not much to load. Anyways, first let's get started. Battery on. Canopy down. APU on. I feel like the controls in this aircraft are just kind of all over the place. Like battery here, canopy here, APU here, engine controls here. Yeah, it's kind of like, it really feels like the controls are just all over the place. So HUD, strut our HUD. Adjust our stick. I think we're a little low. Let's raise our seat. That seems good. All right, I actually gotta set up my my displays. Great. So you know what? We're just gonna sit here for a second. We're just gonna sit on the carrier for a second and I'm gonna set up my displays. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna, I might just cut it and so I can set up my displays because this might be a bit. All right, so I have my display set up right now. This is how I usually like it. I have my TGP here, jammer panel here, GPS target just in case, TSD. This has a TSD just like the F-45, and I also like to have my RWR in this small window right here. That way I can easily see what's locking onto me. I think it's on HUD mode always. Yeah, I think it's always on HUD display mode, and then my radar over here. So yeah, let's get out there. Well, first of all, we got starter engines. Also, my nav display here, and my objectives panel that I can unhide down there. So, all right, so let's start our engines. Our wingman's in front of us. I think he's just waiting for us to get started up. All right, engine 2 is up. This mission kind of feels like. This mission just kind of feels like an afterthought, like it was slapped into the campaign last minute, because there's no dialogue or anything. There's no dialogue at all in this mission, and it's also just kind of feels disconnected from the rest of the campaign. Like the only indication, like only really the objectives panel tells you what you're supposed to be doing. But anyways, I digress. Nope. I need to push to talk. Activate push to talk mode. Tower. Echo 1-1, request takeoff.
Echo 1-1, you're cleared to taxi to Cat 4.
Alright, let's get to the catapult. We're gonna assign Cat 4. Alright. Launch bar down.
Echo 1-1, locked in. Throttle down and run your launch checklist.
Alright. So for our launch checklist, we want to go wing sweep forward.
Echo
Scopes on.
1-1, shields up, ready to go.
Flaps 2, and catapult trim on. Alright. Alright, and we're good to go. One thing to note about carrier launches is that I think you want to be a bit careful if there's another aircraft that's launching alongside you, especially if it's another EF-24, because if you're not careful, if you extend your wings, if you're not careful with extending your wings, you can actually your wing can actually hit the other aircraft, and that'll damage your wing, which is really not ideal. All right. Flaps up. Alright, we're airborne. Wing sweep auto. Wingman regroup.
Roger that.
Alright. So our objective is to take out all of the early warning radars and the SAM radars. There are if you look at the map here, there are 2 islands, and we gotta clear out the early warning radars and SAM radars on both islands. We're gonna head to this island in front of us first. This island does not have any SAM radars, but it does have an early warning radar. Now we're gonna first we're gonna climb up to altitude. and then and then we will. There you can see we're already detecting the early warning radar. You can explain how the weapons and jamming this works. First of all, we're gonna set our weapons to air to ground mode. You can only because over here there's air to air mode and air to ground mode. You can only select the weapon that you have selected. For example, if you're in air to ground mode, you can only select air to ground weapons. If you're in air to air mode, you can only select air to air weapons. And we have this switch here, which toggles between weapons mode and EW mode. So basically, by cycling this switch, you can choose what the trigger and weapon switch button does on the stick. In weapons mode, you know, the weapon switch button switches weapons and the trigger fires your weapons. While in EW mode, the trigger cycles between your jammers. And the weapon mode, and the trigger toggles jamming on and off. So yeah. So let's talk about real quick about how jamming works. So in enemy radars operate on a specific frequency band. And you can actually see what frequency band each radar operates on using the FRAS display, which is the frequency azimuth display. It'll show you what frequency every radar you can detect and operates on. Below this low line, which means the radar is operating on low frequency. Above the red line means it's operating on high frequency, and in between is mid frequency, obviously. And so if we activate noise jamming and then select the correct band, that radar will have a really hard time actually tracking us. We'll have a really hard time to tracking us. And with that, I'm actually gonna. So now we're jamming this MW radar on high frequency, which is a missile warning radar. Here's all. Which is a missile warning radar. It basically jams all. The missile warning radar is designed to detect incoming missiles and protect allied units. It's pretty versatile. It can activate decoys. It can order in nearby launchers to intercept the incoming missile. It can tell radars to shut themselves off, and it's pretty versatile. But for us, it's really annoying. So what we're gonna do is we're going too slow. We're gonna jam the MW radar, and I'm gonna get my wingman to fire a harm at the EW radar. Wingman, attack my target. Wingman, attack my target.
Copy. Attacking your target.
Alright, harm away.
Magnum.
Wingman, form up.
Engaging the enemy.
Wingman, disengage.
Sorry, I can't do that. Copy. You got it.
Alright, and then I'm gonna position myself behind the missile, behind the missile, so that'll minimize the chances of the missile being intercepted. Alright, Shaq. Good kill. Alright. Alright. Early warning radar destroyed. Alright, so we're done with this island. We can leave this island now, because we don't care about it anymore. We're gonna move away from this island because we're done with it. The only thing we care about there is the early warning radar, and it's destroyed. So we're gonna move away from it. All right. So let me talk about the jamming a little bit more. I'm just gonna put ourselves on autopilot so I can explain a bit. So are these jamming pods, these ALQ-245 jamming pods, unlike the ALQ-131s, which operate off the aircraft's power, which means it drains the aircraft's battery when in use, these are actually powered by a built-in ram air turbine, similar to the jamming pods on the real life EA-18G Growler. They're powered by a ram air turbine, and which means you need to be moving forward fast enough to properly power the jammers. If you're going too slow, the turbines won't be able to provide enough power to the jammers, and if the jammers are active, they will start the pods will start draining their internal batteries, and once the batteries run out, then they won't be able to jam anymore. So the jamming has 3 modes. As you saw, noise jamming, it just blasts noise at the target. And then it just blasts noise at the target, then the target's radar is just completely blanked out and they won't be able to see anything. They won't be able to see anything until something gets very close to them. Until something gets close. Because at that point the radar return is stronger than the noise. But depending on how powerful the radar is and how powerful your jamming is, by the time the target gets into the detectable range of the radar, it might just be too late for the radar to do anything. Second is DRFM, which stands for digital radio frequency memory. It basically takes the enemy radar signal, modifies it, and then transmits it back to the radar, and which can have different effects depending on what the radar is doing to you. Like if the radar is just in search mode, it's not locked onto you, it's just pinging, then the radar will basically just see a bunch of false targets around you. But if the radar is locked onto you, then the jamming will then attempt to break the lock. Will attempt to break the lock using range gate pull-off. I'm not gonna explain how range gate pull-off works. You can just look that up yourself if you want. It's kind of complicated, but basically it will just try to break the lock. And then SAS basically just spoofs your radar signature such that you appear as a different aircraft, which is not super useful in the campaign, but could be useful in multiplayer. So yeah. Anyways, and then there's this button here, the MRAD button. It'll light up whenever jamming is active, and then you can push it to immediately stop all jamming output, because radars can do what's called home on jam, and it'll basically home onto a jamming. It'll lock onto a jamming signal, and then it'll use the jamming signal as a beacon to guide missiles. So yeah, wingman orbit here.
Understood.
All right. So next thing we're gonna do. There are 4 first of all, arming weapons. There are 4 SAM radars that we want taken out around the island that we want taken out real quick. We can see 3 of them right here. There's SR radar, an SL radar, and a DS radar. We're just gonna take all of those out. So we are actually in range. We're about 32 miles, even though it just kind of says we're not in range. Or we are in range. Trust me. All right. Magnum.
Copy. You got it.
All right. Now we're gonna. All right. Magnum's away. We're gonna break off. We're spiked. I'm spiked. We're being Yep. Yeah, as you saw, we were being we were being locked by the DS radar, but I DRFM jammed it and it broke the lock. And it quickly broke the lock. So yeah, it's pretty effective. Anyways, those missiles are out. Those should hit the targets. Those should hit the targets, no problem. I'm gonna wait for them to impact. I'm actually gonna switch on my spectator cam. I forgot to set up my spectator cam. But those radars should be taken out. Those harms should be able to take out the SAMs, no problem. Five, 4, 3. All right, Shack 1, Shack 2, and last one. It's the SR radar, which was the furthest. But that should Shack 3. All right, Shack on 3. Alright. So, those radars are neutralized. Those radars have been neutralized. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna... Wingman, form up.
Copy. You got it.
Our next target is going to be this early warning radar on the northern side of the island. It is also guarded by a missile warning radar. So I'm gonna repeat the attack. I'm gonna do the same thing that we did for that first early warning radar, but we're gonna have to do it at low altitude because we're gonna be close to the island, and then there's gonna be SAM radars targeting us if we're at high altitude. So we're gonna hit that one at low altitude. One thing to note about ARMs. I don't know if I explained this before, but you know, you need for an ARM to actually track, it needs to be able to, you know, see the radar signal. And if a radar is locked on and it's not locked on towards where the harm is coming from, the harm won't be able to track because it won't be able to see the radar signal anymore because the radar signal is completely pointed like a different direction. So what you want to do is, ideally, once you fire off your harm, you want to either duck into cover or get out of range, or get out of the SAM's range. And that'll maximize the chance of your harm actually being able to track and make it to the target. Alright. The wingman is, where's our wingman? Where's our wingman? There's our wingman. Alright, come on. We're going to approach. Alright, we are in the shadow. We are within the radar shadow. Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, and yeah, for whatever reason it will for whatever reason your RWR will also always show the radars of friendly EF-24s. Not sure why. Anyways, we're gonna get closer. We haven't detected the signal of the... We have not detected the signal of the missile warning truck. Oh, there it is. There. The signal. There we have signal on the missile warning system. Gonna start jamming it.
Shoot.
Alright, its turret's coming into view. Remember, stay low. We're gonna get our... We're gonna launch 2 missiles. Like, our wingman's gonna shoot one, and then we're gonna shoot one. Yep, target spotted. We're gonna get a little closer. That should also hopefully maximize our chance of hitting. We're 16 miles. That should be within range. Alright. 16 miles. Yeah, we can try to get a little closer, but we want to be careful because there are IR SAMs around that radar, so we have to be careful. We can't get too... We gotta be at least a little careful. Oh, did we get too low? No?
Shoot.
Alright, let's do it. Wingman, attack my target.
Copy. Attacking your target. Magnum!
Roger, Magnum.
Enemies in sight. Weapons hot.
Magnum.
Copy. Over.
Wingman, disengage.
Roger.
Alright, that might have been a little too close because now we're getting into range of those. We might get into range of the SAMs. Because we're risking getting into range of the SAMs, but I have to stay within the radar. I have to stay behind the missiles so that so that they're covered. All right.
Challenge flare.
All right, let's get out of here.
Chap flare. Chap flare.
All right, I heard missile launch. I forgot to set up my countermeasures. Turning away. Alright, we should be good. We should be good. Alright, our wingman now our wingman's job is actually done. We don't really need our wingman anymore. We don't need our wingman anymore. But I'm gonna fly away from the island a bit so that our wingman is not in range of the SAMs. Because our wingman's job is done. Like, your work here is done, your services are no longer required. You can go home. Alright, that's far enough. Wingman RTB. Wingman RTB. Wingman RTB.
Copy. You got it.
Alright, our wingman, and we don't need our wingman anymore. So I'm gonna relieve our wingman of duty, and they can get home safe. So we're gonna finish the rest of the mission on our own. I am okay. I am actually I am currently kind of exposed to those SAMs there because that's where the ships are. Oh, SAM launch. I think they fired at my wingman, but my wingman should be out of there in fact quick enough. That's a SAM launch. Alright, we're clear. You want to be careful when approaching. If you ever approach that area over there, like... You ever approach this area over here where the first few SAMs were? Like, near this factory, or especially near near the factory, or especially near near this oil rig around here, you want to be careful, because there is a AAA emplacement. There's a AAA emplacement on that oil rig, and there's also man pads around there, so you want to be careful. You want to be careful over there. All right. Anyways. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna head towards this this early warning radar over here. We're gonna head towards this early warning radar, and we're gonna take it out with this. We're gonna strafe it. There's no IR SAMs around it, unlike the other two, because that first one on that other island. Oh. That first one on the other island also had IR SAMs guarding it. But this one does not. This one does, however, have a DS radar near it. Like on the other side of these mountains, there's a DS radar. So we're gonna strafe this early warning radar, and then we're gonna strafe the DS radar. But that is something to keep in mind. Yep, there it is. There's the DS radar. But we should be close enough that it can't really hit us. Hopefully. Alright, guns, guns, guns. Alright, early warning radar destroyed. The enemy's early warning network is crippled.
Altitude. Pull up. Pull up.
Alright, shack on the DS radar. There are some, there appears to be some missile silos on the beach here. Oh, some infantry shooting at us, but that's whatever. There appears to be some missile silos on the beach. Why would you... Who puts missile silos on the beach? That seems like an really easy target. Okay, real quick, I'm gonna set my SMS, CMS, countermeasure system set. Those targets. All right. So last targets are the ships and the last DS radar that are all docked in port over there. We're basically gonna do the we're gonna do the same thing as we did like in the T-55 campaign. We're gonna peek over the mountains, and we're gonna fire off two, duck back into cover, and then fire off the other two. So yeah. So similarly to that time, there's two MC cruisers. There's two DMSS cruisers. Sorry, there's NMSS cruisers. Blech. Two NMSS cruisers, one DMS cruiser, and one DS radar. So yeah, we're gonna peek over the mountain. That's the missile warning radar, not a threat to us.
Shoot. Over T. Over T. Flare. Over T. Over T. Pull up. Shot. Flare. Pull up.
Alright.
Over T. Over T.
Magnum's away.
Over T. Flare. Shot.
We're gonna pop flares as we
Over T. Over T.
as we pass over here, because remember, like I said, there's man pads. Alright, those should have impacted. Let's hit the last two. That should have destroyed the DS radar and one NMSS cruiser radar. Oop.
Shot. Flare. Missile launch.
Magnum. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake. There's 2 DMS cruisers and 1 NMSS cruiser.
Flare. Chaff flare.
Alright. All targets destroyed. All primary targets neutralized. All primary targets neutralized. Mission accomplished. Returning to base. All primary targets neutralized. Returning to base. We're gonna make sure we go around this way to avoid the AAA and the man pads. And our work here is done. Let's head back to the carrier. So yeah, that mission basically gave us a basic, we basically got a basic overview of how jamming works and a bit of some seed tactics. But yeah. This island is now cleared of the skies around this island are now clear. No more SAM radars, it's just some missile warning radars remaining, which are not a threat to aircraft. Let's climb up to cruising altitude and head back to the carrier. Yeah, we definitely did not need extra fuel. We're like at a 1/3 tank. As long as you minimize use of afterburners on this aircraft, you should be good on fuel. Thing is, with afterburners on, this aircraft absolutely guzzles fuel. With the afterburners on this aircraft absolutely guzzle fuel. So try not to use afterburners for too long, unless you like running out of fuel. Another thing to note about the afterburners on this aircraft. Well, one thing is that they absolutely guzzle fuel. And 2, the afterburners on this aircraft are notoriously hot. Like, if you have your afterburners on, so like this, if you watch the temperature, you can see the temperature absolutely climbed to like 2,000 degrees. That you can see the afterburners on this aircraft are very hot, and it takes and you can see it also takes a second. It takes a couple of seconds for the exhaust to cool down. After switching off the afterburners, which can actually leave you which can actually mean if you have afterburners on. And then you see an incoming IR SAM, incoming IR missile, it can be actually pretty hard to dodge because your engines will still be very hot. So which makes this aircraft actually quite vulnerable to IR missiles. Anyways, we're coming down. We're approaching the carrier. Let's set up for landing. So you want the HSI, and we need the carrier's ILS 1162. All right, set up. Tower, Echo 1-1, request landing. Tower, Echo 1-1, request landing.
Echo 1-1, tower, copy. Fly heading 227. Expect runway 23.
Well, on the upside, well, at least here we have a straight 8-in land. We're approaching from behind the carrier, so we can actually just do a straight-in a straight-in Cat 3 landing. Case 3 landing, not Cat 3 landing. Cat 3 landing is for ILS, is for very low visibility. It's very low visibility. Very low
on the carrier.
Very low visibility ILS landings at commercial airports, where you use auto land. All right, so we're gonna run through landing. Gonna prepare for landing. Yeah, we're just gonna do a straight in Case 3 landing. All right, approaching from behind. All right, we're actually almost. We're right now. We're almost on the glide slope. We need to adjust right a bit. And now we have okay. All right, localizer captured. Glide slope captured. Let's guide her in. All right. Up, down, gear down. Flaps down. So you might recall me saying before that it's very like this aircraft feels very floaty when the flaps are fully down, and I still stand by that. But it's proper procedure. That's proper landing procedure. You also lose a lot of speed. Yeah, you lose speed very quickly. Your speed also drops very quickly with the flaps down all the way down. All right.
Echo 1-1, call the ball.
Echo 1-1 ball. Echo 1-1 ball.
Roger ball.
Watch our speed. We're low. We're too low on. Oh. But you need to shift right. This aircraft is big, like the FA-26, so we should be able to aim for the end of the deck, I think. All right, lined up.
Lined up. You're lined up. You're lined up. Power. One wire.
Ah, one wire.
Welcome back. Follow the taxi path through the parking area.
Yeah, we lost quite a lot of speed, so we were a little low, we were low on the approach, so we lost quite a lot of speed there. Oh well. Could have been better. Landing could have been better. It's fine. Where all these aircraft come? Where did these FA-26s come from? Where did those F-45s come from? Where did those FA-26s come from? Where did those F-45s come from? Where did these B-11 bombers come from? Yeah, these aircraft kind of just all spawn on the deck. Just kind of all spawn in once you destroy the final target. It's kind of funny. Alright. Alright. After carrier landing, wings back. Wings back, flaps up. Wait, surface, flaps up. Flaps up, hook up, wings back. Wings all the way back.
Ground crew standing by.
And here's a parking spot. Brake hold. And let's shut her down. Yeah, but that is mission 1. That was 40 minutes. Jeez. I took quite a long time in explaining, but oh well. Anyways, that's mission 1 of the 1 Minute to Midnight campaign. That's gonna be it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.